If you're tired of not making progress and you're ready to be the artist you know you're meant to be, you're in the right place. You're listening to the Singer's Path podcast. The Path, or Performing Artists Training Hub, will cover everything, including singing tips that actually work, advice from top industry professionals, and life-changing mindset shifts. Out with the starving artist and in with the thriving artist. I'm your host, Sarah Bishop, professional singer, actor, educator, and entrepreneur. I'm not afraid to speak the truth and stop the gatekeeping of quality information so you can actually become the artist you dream of being. So let's get on the path, shall we? Even though we're all on our own journeys, it always helps to have a guide. Hello. Welcome back to the Singer's Path podcast. It's me, your host, Sarah Bishop, and I'm here again with my favorite co-host, DJ Plunkett.
I love that I have upgraded from co-host from guest to co-host.
Yeah,
now.
bitch. Favorite co-host.
4 interviews later, here we are.
4 interviews later, bitch. And today, DJ's going to deliver some tea on what it's like to do a world tour and do production in another country, because we got him back in the U.S.
It's crazy. I am back in the U.S. on a layoff. I've been in mainland China for 2.5 months. And I go to Taipei and Kaohsiung on Friday.
How's that Mandarin going?
We'll get into it because it's crazy.
Because she crazy. Yeah.
I think we probably talked about it on the pod last time, but I started learning Mandarin when I booked this job back last January on Duolingo and Hello Chinese. And I didn't go in it with any goals of being fluent.
Yeah.
But I am not fluent. I can tell you that. I know maybe 3% of things that are helpful, but I am 3% more fluent than I was before.
There you go.
And it's definitely been helped. It should have been a requirement for everyone, because the people that didn't were in more culture shock than I was, and I was in culture shock. So,
oh my God. Yeah. I mean, when you can't get around and you can't read anything and you can't order or pay for anything.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna fucking talk about it.
We'll get into it all.
We're gonna get into it. And also,
Also, if I sound like a smoker, it's because I've been coughing. And been kind of sick for the last 2 months, which is also what I am excited to talk to Sarah about.
Oh my God. Yeah, I know.
We're also in a full real catch up right now, guys. Yeah. We've only had 1 phone call since I've been back.
Yeah. So this is also selfishly me just catching up with my friend who had the fucking audacity to go work in China and be away. But no, we're very excited for DJ, although kind of rough with the show schedule and being in another fucking country and not speaking the language, and also still dealing with sickness. I actually just saw, I think it was on TikTok again, it was this one girl, I think she's on The Wiz, she was she's Dorothy on The Wiz, and she made a TikTok. She's like, hey, I don't know who can help me with this, but how do you deal with vocal fatigue like this?
True. It's so real. Touring especially is not for the faint of anything. It is so hard. And then add international on top of that. I'm on my own journey right now of refiguring out how my body and health and voice can do this. I'm also not 20 anymore. So it's been a hard gig.
Yeah. And I mean, you were saying culture shock. So basically, again, last time we talked, I don't even know if I even announced what it was. You were on the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory World Tour in China.
Yes, I'm playing Mike TV on the World Tour of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yes. And
that is basically Broadway across Asia. So lots of Asian countries in that. But so far on my leg has been mainland China.
And you kind of mentioned bopping between countries and country relations. Do you really have to consider that when you talk about the show?
So much so that it's actually contracted, and we've had cultural orientations about how to word things. There's things that I can't say. It's wild. And it's kind of one of the reasons, not why I took the job, but I really wanted this job to kind of expand and open me. We talked a lot about kind of I don't want to say finding myself, but I just wanted to decenter Broadway and New York City in my brain a little bit. And I'd never been abroad ever. So, and it definitely has in just kind of like learning about things like cultural differences or sensitivities or geopolitics or what's, like things we take advantage or don't
Take for
really realize
granted.
that we
Yeah.
have here, take it for granted here. But yeah, no, it's so like I am going to, I'm going to be very careful about what I say because I need to get back into mainland China in February.
Yeah.
So an example, and so I apologize for listeners if I'm talking around it, but there are some countries that China doesn't recognize
China
as
don't
countries.
recognize. China
China
don't
recognize. Oh my
fuck
God.
with.
If I don't sound American now, China don't fuck with
China
this.
don't fuck with that.
No, but there are some countries that China doesn't recognize as countries. And so I'm not allowed to say that. Even though I'm going to perform in those places.
In those
so
places.
Yes. So the rule is I can say what the cities I'm performing in, just not necessarily all the countries I'm going to.
And that's because China gets upset.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know what?
Yeah.
We're going to just leave that there because we're not about to.
Leave that there.
We're just going to leave. We're going to leave that right there. We don't want to piss off China, so we're just going to leave that right there.
But listen, everything I can say has been like it's been so cool and weird and dissonant because there are things that are very strange like that and very uncomfortable feeling, and then there are also things that are like beautiful and magical and clean and like 50 years in the future over there. You're like, whoa, like New York City in America could never. So it's been a trip.
Yeah.
It has been a trip.
You mentioned particularly because you've been sick, going and doing the medical, like going to get a doctor's appointment was wild.
I went to a hospital in Shanghai twice, which sounds dramatic, but it was just like my company manager scheduled it. But the spark notes is that, and I imagine most of your listeners are American, but
not everyone, but yeah.
Yeah, sure. So like for those of you that don't know, the American healthcare system, not the best. I basically got an appointment morning of with a doctor and was seen 15 minutes early. The actual doctor, not the nurse practitioner, spent an hour with me going through my timeline of like what I've tried, what I hadn't tried. There were also robot nurse things that were like zooming around, bringing like the blood pressure machines and everything. It was clean. It was sterile. It was so organized. Everything was in one place. She ordered a full panel of blood work and a full chest x-ray. And I was like, I'm not here for that long. I'm on tour. I can't wait for the results. And she was like, the results come in 20 minutes. And I was like, oh, okay. And she was like, well, I don't want to waste your 20 minutes. So we'll start your treatment now. And she put me in a lazy boy chair with a saline nebulizer and put some steroids in it for my voice while I waited for those results. And then she went over my results and like hooked me up with a bunch of drugs.
Great.
That entire experience not only would have never happened here, it would have cost probably $8,000 at least. And like it would have taken 2 months to do all of that. It was the equivalent of like $400.
Got it.
Yeah.
No insurance.
No, my company had insurance, so like they paid for it.
So it was free.
It was free for me, but like the actual price tag on it, if I like, let's say I wasn't part of a company, I didn't have anything, like the actual price tag on that out of pocket would have been $400.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember you telling me that before and I was like, got it.
Wild. I felt so like, it was one of the most like safest and like taken care of I had felt on the entire leg. And I was like, whoa, our country could never. And that's sad.
That's sad. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad they took care of you that day. Although you've been saying you've had this cold bronchial
Basically,
bullshit.
I've been performing. Yeah. Like, let's get into it. I've been performing on really, really bad, basically up until that point, untreated sinusitis, for 9 weeks. And dude, it's been rough. It just cycled through my chest and throat and nose and is still here, basically. I just took Mucinex. That's why I sound really bad. So I'm just like draining it right now.
Got it.
But yeah, it's just been like nonstop and it's been really, really hard. And I can't even begin to tell you the toll that it has taken on my voice. But shockingly to not you or any of your listeners, the toll that it's taken on my mental health surrounding my voice. Because the weird thing that happens, and singers know this, when you lose your voice or can't sing at your best, I find that like self-worth comes into play a little bit. And you're like, well, if I can't sing, who am I and what am I doing here?
Yeah.
Which is really hard.
Yeah.
So I've done the show now at my like 85%, and I've scraped by a few times at like my like 50%. But I've yet to do the show at like my own personal 100%, which is, you know, nobody knows except me. But that's been its own like mental gymnastics game, which I know is what you literally like teach and deal with.
Yeah.
Is kind of marrying those two things.
Well, it's just not looking at them as being independent of one another, because the truth is, like, the voice and our mental and physical capacities, I mean, the voice is part of our body. So if our body's trying to tell us something, like, it's going to let us know. But then the, you know, the mental and subconscious and nervous system aspect of it all too is also all related. So,
yeah,
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I've been doing, as we've been trying to discuss more about the Inner Circle membership and talk about how, I mean, the Inner Circle membership's for every kind of artist. It's not even just for singers, but as we're kind of discussing the differences of, like, hey, like, any stories you have around your voice and, you know, your relationship with yourself is going to present in your voice. So when DJ says, like, oh, I'm noticing so much about self-worth, like, flaring up when, like, this part of me that earns me money and is like, you know, the special thing about me isn't working, then like what is the toll that it has on you? And it's I guess when I talk to singers about it, or I reflect on it on myself, it's like, I don't want you to not look at your voice as being part of you, because it is part of you, but it's not all of you, right? It's like something that's special about you, but like, it doesn't make you less of a human being or less deserving if you're having a normal human being reaction when you're being worked really hard, right? That, you know, you have to look at it as like, maybe there's something wrong with you, when in fact you just traveled across the world and are doing a hard schedule in a city you don't know.
And that's what I've been working on, like, in myself, of like, also, if you hear dogs howling, I'm so sorry. I'm in Massachusetts right now.
Oh, it's all good.
And there's dogs in the house, so I apologize.
No, I can't hear it.
Hi, Amanda, our lovely editor.
Yeah, sorry, Amanda.
You hear that,
I did Amanda so fucking dirty on some of these episodes. This is probably another one she's gonna have to work her magic.
I was gonna say, this is another one. I'm so sorry.
No,
dude.
it's all good. I mean, listen, she works her magic, and you know, sometimes she gets us back by like leaving in embarrassing things in the interview.
I love it. Read us to filth, please.
Read us to
you have
filth,
my full
Amanda.
Permission.
But basically, yeah, I mean, it's one and the same. But you know, the thing that really bothers me, that I know, as you're currently on a contract, I'm sure you can't really talk about too much right now, but it leaves the singer and the artist having the problem of like feeling like there's a ton of weight on their shoulders and they need to deliver. But it's like they're human beings. Like you guys are being worked so hard.
Interesting. Here's something that I can share. So I just mounted a new global tour. It's the Broadway Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but this show has a really interesting history where I can say, like, it originated in London, where it was this huge multi-million-dollar incredible spectacle. And then when it came over to the States, it got a new creative team, and they entirely took away all of the spectacle. They were like, let's do it like completely dialed back, and it's all in your imagination was the concept. Okay. And people hated it, and it flopped hard.
Yeah, I mean, was there a reason they did that? Like, if it was working in London, like, why would they do that?
They wanted it. They didn't think it would work with American audiences because it didn't have the songs from the movie. So, like, I Got a Golden Ticket or Pure Imagination or the iconic things that Americans think of when they think of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So they knew they wanted to rework it. And kind of just part of that reworking it, they came up with the concept of must be believed to be seen, which is the Act 1 finale, which is like you have to believe it to see it.
Okay, but that, in my opinion, is lazy as fuck. I said it, you didn't. Okay, I said it.
Sure. Well, and listen, so did every critic in New York, and it flopped hard. And what happened was what's really great about what I respect so much about this whole team is they have been so willing to continue to work on it. So they mounted the first national tour. They reworked it a little bit more. They added elements. They mounted a second national tour that went around the States. They added new elements. They reworked it even more. And then it went to Australia, where they, again, did the same thing. Remounted it, added some new elements. And that was the version they were like, we fixed it, we did it, this is what's going to go down in history. And they were kind of all done. And then Broadway Across Asia reached out and was like, hey, we want to do it again. And the whole team was like, we got it right in Australia, we're good. And they're like, what if we throw a bunch of more money at it, basically? And the team was like, hell yeah, let's do it again. And so the global tour of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory that's playing right now is, in my personal opinion, and pretty objectively, the biggest it's been in a very long time. It looks beautiful. The designs are incredible. There's new magic. There's new illusions. It's been really, really cool to be a part of. But also that means mounting an entirely brand new production. So, oh no, where was I going with this? You were saying,
well, I don't remember, but but that would make it difficult to tech in China with other people that don't speak the same language as you, and you're trying to put on this gigantic fucking production. And I guess
exactly. So like that's where we were going. That's what I was going to say. I was getting at basically my first call out, because we were mounting the show from scratch, and most of the company members were new to the show. All of the understudies and covers and swings are also learning their track and their coverage from scratch. And I was the first one in our company in this new mounting of it to have to call out for vocal fatigue. And that really sucked because I wanted to kind of like strongman push my way through.
No.
And I was like, no, literally no.
No.
Yeah, I was like, we're not doing that. And I texted my understudy and I was like, hey, are you ready? And he was like, I got you. And I was like, boom. And I hate that I had to be the first, but what that did was it kind of like showed to everyone in the company that like, that's okay and should be the norm if you're like, sick. It was kind of like, I had to be the one to rip the Band-Aid, which sucked, but you know.
Yeah, but also good. Like I remember that from touring as well. It was like, you don't want to be the person that like calls out and you just want to push through. Right. That was also
Who cares?
Pre the disease times of 2020.
Right, exactly.
As well. Exactly. It's just really not a fucking flex. If you're, I mean, now we get to a sticky part too, that in some companies, like you aren't allowed to call out at a certain point, or you only have so many sick days. Like this is
that's the thing too, because guys, sick days, and this is, I mean, granted, this current tour is union non-jurisdictional because it's global, but this is even true in equity. Sick days aren't days; they're performances.
Show. Yeah. So if you're sick over a weekend,
a 2-show day. Let's say you're sick over a weekend where there's a Friday night, 2 Saturday, and 2 Sunday. Yeah. You're using 5-6 days.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Which is crazy.
I've talked about that a lot. I've talked about that and I even remember being on tour and like I hadn't used any days. I hadn't used any vacation. I had been working for like 18 months and hadn't used anything.
Yeah. And the company, you get a cold and then blew through all of them? Like
No, I wanted to go visit my boyfriend at the time for a weekend and they denied it.
Wow.
And I was like, because it used extra show.
And that goes to show that it actually doesn't matter. Like you were a person where it's like, I didn't use any of it. I did 18 months straight through and they still said no.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know what? You might as well use your sick days, use your personal days.
Yeah, literally just use your personal days, use your sick days. And even though they shouldn't, like there's sometimes rules about what's considered a personal day and what they can ask about. And like, I didn't really play the game right because I gave them a reason when I really shouldn't have given them a reason.
There shouldn't be a game to play.
I know, but there is. And that's,
I know.
And again, another reason why I personally discovered subconsciously that I don't actually fucking want to do that. And then was pushing it away for years and years and years. And it came to literally this year for me to like accept and be like, you know what? That's okay. I'm accepting that maybe this hasn't happened in the way that I wanted it to for a fucking reason, because I don't know if I'm down to fuck with that.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, add to all of this the China of it all, or the Asia of it all, where it's like we're mounting this huge new thing, like you said, in teching in a foreign country where no one speaks English.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, some people speak a little English. Like, no, it is, especially where we teched in Dongguan, China.
Which is
which we
the
were
Cleveland.
kind of joking. It felt like the Cleveland of China. But what that meant is like our dressers, our run crew, our flymen, nobody spoke English. So our stage manager is calling the show still currently, in English, Chinese, in English, Mandarin, and Cantonese.
Wait, where did they find this fucking stage manager?
He's brilliant. He's Australian. And our calling stage manager is British. This is one of the coolest things about the company too, is that it's so worldly. We have an Australian stage manager and resident director, a British stage manager. Our wigs woman, it works at the Kennedy Center, and she's Jamaican. We have an African sound guy, and like people are from everywhere to do this, and working at the top of their game, which is really, really cool. But the challenges of that, specifically with the local crews, not who we travel with, is that nobody speaks English. So we're all on our phones using apps to like with our dressers or with run crew, or, imagine you're Chinese and on the fly crew and you hear Q178 go. You don't know what that means.
Oh,
so you're
Jesus.
like, let me pull down the drop, I guess. Like there's been our tech was really, really trying for every department.
Yeah, but that's actually
again,
like dangerous too. Like literally,
is.
you can have the set piece crush you because someone didn't understand a cue.
So we had a lot of holds and a lot of like stop, and everyone was very cognizant of that. But it has been the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, and these people that I'm doing it with, I have just the most immense amount of respect for, because it's what we're doing is crazy. What we're doing is crazy. It's crazy to do in English here.
Yeah. It was crazy to tour Wicked. Like, even though that's like the cushiest of cushy tour jobs.
That's why I was actually just talking about this with my therapist. I think I went into this tour with my tour brain from Wicked ready to be like, I've toured before. I know what this is. The international tour of it all is a completely different beast. Mm-hmm. And 17 times more intense. The volume is just turned up on every front. And I think that's why I'm still sick.
Oh, Jesus. Well, I mean, yeah, well, that's what I mean. It's like
it's been fun. I was like, I'm not going to complain the whole time. Like I've seen amazing places. I went to Shanghai Disney, which was a blast. I've seen like gardens and temples and museums and sites and restaurants and all these different types of things that when I lay my eyes on them, I'm like, whoa, I am in China right now. This is crazy. Like, pinch me. What in my life has brought me to this beautiful place?
And it's hard.
which is then balanced with, this is really hard. And I can't speak the language or my own food, pay for anything, or like do my show right now. So,
got it.
It's been a journey. Yeah.
Well, I'm curious, like, I don't know how much you could talk about this, but are you capable of auditioning while you're there too? Just like for after working, like after, like, because that's the thing of an actor. You're always, this is what I also did not like about working on the other contract that I had, was like, they wouldn't let you go to like callbacks and stuff. So you had to kind of like play hooky.
Well, I mean, here's the thing.
Obviously, if you're in China, you can't
go to anything.
Right. But like, it's different now because so much is self-tape.
Well, that's was like post-pandemic. I was like, everybody's taping for whatever they want to tape for, whether they talk about it or not. So yes.
Wait, did you ever?
Short answer, yes.
Yes. Okay, good. You're good. Wait, did you watch my Dear Evan Hansen tapes that I sent you?
No. Oh my God, I forgot.
Yeah. You should watch
I specifically asked for it too because I wanted to.
I know. I'll have to send it back to you.
Oh, I love watching a self tape.
I felt like the oldest.
This audience knows I know that.
Yeah, DJ loves a self tape, yo. I do.
I love like learning from people and like seeing what other people are bringing to their work, and I find that it gives me permission when I see somebody make a bold choice. It gives me to be like, oh, I could try something like that with this material, or like, you know what I mean? I just love learning from everybody else.
No, I mean, it's been helpful to like hearing feedback and learning from you as well. And it's good to like have a buddy and a friend that you can make things with and like get confident with, and like also isn't your husband that you're making be your reader when they don't really know what they're doing.
Also be honest with, like, I know like Sarah and I will send each other tapes and be like, dude, this is a really good one. Send this.
Yeah.
Or like, which one should I use? And I'll heart the one that I like.
Yeah, it helps.
Or like, I love you. I'm so sorry to say it, but you got to retape that.
Yeah,
like,
that's
you know
bad.
what I mean?
That's not
Like-
it. You can do better than that. Or like, oh, do you think this fixed it? Or do you think this is a problem? And like, it's, sometimes, especially when you're learning to objectively. Here's the other thing about taping. And like when an actor decides what tape they want to send. This happened to me recently. I posted a tape on TikTok because I've been trying to be better actually about posting, obviously not material that's new or like releasing anything, because that's a no-no. You don't want to disclose too much information about behind the curtain online when it's not being publicly disclosed. But if you have like a general, like Dear Evan Hansen has been released, I'm not going to tell you what theater it's
regional
at.
everywhere. I was
everywhere.
Like, we're not gonna say it,
yeah.
but like everyone's
doing
doing
it.
Remember the year where everyone did Mamma Mia? It's like, I auditioned for Mamma Mia. It's like, where? Anywhere.
Yeah. If you've been chasing your dreams and you still feel stuck, exhausted, or secretly wondering if you missed your shot, it's not your talent. It's your subconscious wiring and your nervous system. That's why I created the Singer's Path Inner Circle, which is an exclusive membership that gives you access to career counseling, to live calls, to exclusive content, and the very special Spotlight System program that we built with a therapist using real neuroscience and nervous system regulation tools. You'll heal the blocks that kill your momentum, your money story, stage fright, fear of being seen, and finally create from confidence, not chaos. And right now, if you take advantage of this founding member launch that's only happening until January 7th, you can get in for less than $2 a day. That is less than a subway ride, guys. And that rate, if you get it while this founding membership thing is going on, you get to lock it in forever, even if the price goes up later. No, if you join before January 7th, 2026, you get to keep that rate forever. Doors open Thanksgiving, unless you're listening to this and I decided to release it earlier. So let's make 2026 the year you stop surviving your dream and you finally live it. Details are in the link in the show notes, or go to sarahbishopvocalstudio.com to check it out, and I'll see you in there. Oh, I had a point. Okay. I put more tapes on TikTok. I put a wild party take and I put 2 takes on because sometimes you send 2 takes, sometimes you don't. If you're going to send 2 takes for a self tape, they really should be different. Like and for this one, for Maybe I Like It This Way, this is why I was like, about it. Because for one of them, if you look at the actual circumstance of the character, okay, for Wild Party Queenie is in a battered situation, right? She's like a battered wife. No, she's not a wife. I don't think they're married, but like it's her situation where she's basically like, I'm not going to leave him. And I know this is an issue, but I'm gonna, I'm not leaving. And I have gotten it coached by like top fucking people. And every time I've gotten it coached, by literal Broadway fucking coaches, they coach stars. Okay. I trust them. I always walk this line of like emotional vulnerability, taking over the sound a little bit, versus pulling back and all of that. And that's also a slight reason why I have some pickles with musical theater lately, because I'm always team. I don't give a fuck. I know this is ironic because I'm a voice teacher, but I would always lean into a harder acting choice and let the vocal be what it is.
Yeah.
Always. So I think so, but that's not always the case. And when you're selecting your self-tape, like people, like you're kind of throwing a crapshoot. So for this, because I had a take that was like really emotionally messy and it did compromise the sound a little bit. And then I had another take that was a little bit cleaner, but I did feel like I gave up a little bit on the last end.
That's like,
I sent both.
So real.
I sent both.
Yeah.
But then I also put them on TikTok because I was like, listen, this is what happens. And then there was someone that was like, director here, I think actually this take was it because in her story arc here, this makes sense. So you should have just sent this one. And I'm like, fuck you. I was like, dude,
okay,
but that's your opinion.
If they were directing, I
Yeah.
was like, if you're auditioning for their wild party,
Sure.
absolutely,
Great.
sure.
And that's why I
But
said
somebody
both.
else's wild party might be entirely different.
Exactly,
Like,
exactly. And I was like, and she was like, it makes sense for Queenie's thing. Like she has to, and okay, I'm going to say something that I don't know. I don't, this is maybe controversial, but listen, I do believe we should always be quote unquote like fighting for something. And when it turns into you're playing the objective and like playing what you think the arc of the character more than the actual fucking circumstance of what is actually fucking happening there at that moment, I think it turns into bad fucking acting. I think it turns schmackty. And if you hold back because you're trying to save the sound, but you don't do it like it's still not based in story.
it feels weird. No, it feels weird. It's actually my least favorite thing to even have to do as a singer sometimes. Like this actually happened. I think this is what you're talking about, but like this happened at Wicked a few times where I was doing Witch Hunters, which is just a raging, screaming crowd rally like thing. So I would have like my A show of like, this is me doing in the circumstances of what it is. But like sometimes you're like, okay, and here's a matinee where I'm like, I have to pull back a little bit and not growl and scream and do all the things. But as an actor, it's awful.
Yeah, it
you're
doesn't
like,
go good.
I'm vocally conserving, but like this is not what is telling the story the best. You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
and then it comes down to like our original point is why we were talking about this is like when you're on an actual contract, again, you're a human being, even though companies might not always look at you that way, but like you got to make choices to make sure that you are at least able to do your job to the best of your ability that day. And that's going to look different day to day. I remember there was like this article that came out it was during like maybe 2022 or something. I think it was 1776. There was like, do you remember that? There was like this lady from 1776, this person that was like, I think the villain of the story.
I remember vaguely. Keep going though.
Okay, but I don't know enough about this to talk into detail. But basically, they were like, oh, some days I give 70% and some days I give 60%.
I do remember this, and it was like it like blew up the internet. For a
Oh my
second.
God! Because and then all like the older generation of Broadway were like, I always give 100%, and if you're here and like and to that, I want to say, listen. I understand it's a privilege to be on Broadway. I understand it's a privilege to, you know, perform for a living and all this pride stuff. But like when you get super triggered like that, I think that's pointing to something. That's pointing, in my opinion, sometimes when people, I don't know. I didn't interpret the article of her being like, I'm just a lazy and I like fuck off when I'm doing this contract. I interpreted it as, I'm a person that can give what I can give on each particular day, and I will give that based on how I am feeling as a human, which is how I took it at the time. Again, I haven't read in a while.
Well, and listen, again, not to bring it back to me.
No, but that's why you're here. We're talking about this concept.
Like sometimes on a global tour, you are literally like it's like fighting for your life, but like so sometimes the show takes a back seat to the experience. Not sometimes, actually. Most of the time on this current job, you are in survival mode of like, what do I do when I'm trying to order literally food, get to my call time. I can't speak the language. I have to use apps to pay that are in Chinese. You have to use VPNs or shut the VPNs off, or like sometimes your like international plan just doesn't work. So your phone is rendered useless. So you can't use translation apps, or like, you know, like there's so many hurdles in place to just like get a coffee before half hour that you're just like, you're already like at a 10 where you're just like, I'm already exhausted and all I've tried to do was get a latte. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And so like, you know, that's when you're like, okay, I'm doing this performance, and then add to this. So we're doing the show in English. But when we're in places like Dongguan, nobody speaks English. So the audiences aren't actively understanding the show. I mean, we have subtitles that are like LED, like in Mandarin. But those aren't like clicked perfectly with all of our choices. They're clicked as much as somebody can. But it's really odd to, in that mind space of like, I'm just like trying to, let me get whatever my 100% of today is. To like a crowd that doesn't even understand the show. So you're just like, what am I doing?
Oh, what's happening? Well, I mean, I think this is the other thing. And I remember when I went to India for my friend's wedding, I was in the wedding. all the Americans, y'all, we are, until you leave America, you don't understand how sheltered we are in a way. And also like how fucking sensitive we are.
Yes.
We were all fucking babies, but like also like I didn't want to leave my hotel because I thought I was gonna die. Because you can't like you go outside and not by like violence or anything. I'm gonna get hit by a fucking tuk-tuk and fucking die. Like I'm gonna
I was like the mopeds everywhere on the sidewalk. It's crazy.
I'm gonna breathe in the air and cough out dirt. Like it's bad.
There is no right of way.
There is no there are no traffic laws.
It is a free for all.
Right. And like that's what I mean. It's like
and the air quality. I was like, oh, that's a whole. I was like, the air quality, dude, is killing. I'm dying, as you can hear, literally in my voice.
Yeah. Do you think it's maybe like a response to that?
Yes, and that's what basically. So I went to the Shanghai hospital twice. The first one was a kind of like a general doctor who then referred me to the ENT. And the ENT was gonna scope me. But I took her through kind of what was happening, and she was like, "Listen, I can scope you, but I can tell you what's wrong right now. I don't need to see in there. You're fine. Other than like, in my joke has been like, I'm allergic to China. I just like the new allergens to my system and the air quality in China and the kind of like epidemic of dust mites in southern China is just like." Tanking me, and that sucks, but there's not really anything I can do about it other than like nasal rinsing. Like,
oh great. Well, okay, so
if you guys are on a podcast, Sarah just looked at me with wide eyes, like full deadpan through that whole thing.
I'm just like thinking like, how can I help you as your friend that understands voice?
Here's the thing. I would have, and this is for listeners too, I'm at a little bit of a loss because I would have already reached out to you being like, help, I'm dying.
Well, you were also like bedridden.
That's the thing is I'm not like, it's such an interesting problem to have because like vocally when I'm healthy, I know how to do this show. I'm totally A-okay with all of it. It's literally just an illness that won't go away that's taking me out right now. Yeah. And I don't know what to do.
Yeah, but you're singing like, on top of that.
I can look at you. Well, yes, but I can look at you and be like, Sarah, I'm struggling with this, with my sustained B flat, and we can work on ways to make that better. But like, and we did.
Yeah.
But like, that's not the issue. It's literally just like, I have to do it sick.
Yeah.
Which the issue. Oh, wait, that's what I have to talk about.
What?
Singing on prednisone.
Yeah.
I don't recommend. Don't do it. Don't do steroids, kids. But
it makes your body believe you're healthy. It's like overstretching in hot yoga, right? Like it's like it makes you think that you're invincible again when you're already compromised, and then you can really over sing and like over push and hurt yourself.
So this is what's really weird. And I texted 3 of my friends who are wildly successful who have sung on Broadway with prednisone. And I was like, hey, advice for doing this. And all 3 of them were like, don't. But they were like, no, the main thing, they were like, just be really, really careful about your airflow.
Yeah, don't overblow.
Because here's the thing. So I sing a sustained rock B flat in the show. And that's like the scariest thing on this whole job. It's 16 bars that the only thing I have to worry about in my track is this 16 bars, but it will be the death of me. And when I was on prednisone, you get this like weird like fishbowl ear, so everything sounds a little bit like warped, and physically it feels easy. And like, listen, I'm a tenor, but that's no walk in the park. So like, for it to feel easy, it almost like felt like it was like a whole step lower, and my ear kind of made it also seem like that. I literally came off stage and went to a friend and I was like, was I just sharp? And she's like, no, you sounded great. And I was like, uh-oh, because I'm sick and that was easy. So like, what is this? Like, but I really had to consciously make sure that I was not pushing more air than normal through my chords, because mentally I was like, oh, I sound good tonight. Let's let her rip. No, but like, let's add something to it. No, just like keep it as is.
Yeah. You can get at risk for like a hemorrhage or an injury that way. Yeah. Well, and this is okay. So I've made podcast episodes about this, like when people are sick and like audition season's happening or they're contracted, like this is what I'm talking about. Like and we talked about how the contract is like you get 5 shows on what fucking 6-month various cities, and can't even talk about countries, but like they are literal different places across the globe, and you get 5 or 6 shows off. Like how, right?
Allergens alone, allergens talk about like I've come January, when this like next leg is over, I will have gone back and forth from Asia 4 times.
Wait, what? Because you're coming, because you're going, you came
when
back,
I left,
you're going.
When I came back, and when I'm going, and when I come back.
When do you come back in January?
Which means January 4th.
Okay, and then you'll be here how long?
For a month-ish. But every single time your body has to recalibrate like a complete day-night shift. Like it is literally the exact opposite. And like it's jet lag, but also like add performing on that. It's literally just like.
Wait, do they give you a day to recover for jet lag?
Yeah, I mean, luckily like we fly in like usually like 2-ish days before we have to start either rehearsing or performing.
Okay.
But for those like honestly for the first like week-ish, your brain feels like the loading sign where you're just like, I don't really. It's a fog. It's literally like you're awake, but you're like, I don't know what time it is or what day it is.
Yep. Well, okay. How was the plane ride? How long is it? 16 hours?
About, yeah, give or take.
God.
Friday, I'm going to do 6.5 to San Francisco and then 15.5 to Taipei. It was about 16 to Hong Kong. And then here's the thing, that's just the first leg of the travel day, because then like we went from New York to Hong Kong to then Hong Kong to Guangzhou, and then we took a 2-hour bus to Dongguan. So
right away?
All just in a row. That's just like it's to do that to your body and then like start mounting a tour and go into tech. Like it's like I say this
insane.
Again, what we're doing is crazy.
That's insane. If you've done either of those things, mounted a show from scratch,
right,
or gone on a cross world. I like when we went, and this is again, when I went to India, I realized what a little bitch I was.
Sure.
How much I don't fucking like global travel and how much of a little princess I am.
The first one, I think we all as in like as a company had a little bit of like a look around at each other, like a oh fuck moment. It was around hour like 8 or 9 of that first flight where everyone started to get a little antsy or like claustrophobic or like, uh-oh. Yep. And it certainly hit me where I was just like looking around, it's like, oh God, what did I do? Like, what have I done? We're only halfway through this flight and I am like I'm like ready to be hurled out of this airplane and I don't care where I land. Like
I know. And I always, this has been my
in compression socks,
problem.
Just like literally
oh my God,
mawing in my seat to try to
I have never had bigger
get
cankles.
My blood flow. That's just like, you got to walk around, you got to stretch, you got to sit opposite with like your feet in the air.
No, I got done dirty on my international Indian flight. It was bad. I was on Air India. Don't recommend. There was also, like an elderly woman.
I was like, I won't usually talk trash about like the industry things, but like I have no problem talking trash about airlines.
Yeah,
not a big fan of Cathay Pacific.
Okay, great. There we go. Not a big fan of Air India. Fuck that.
Boom. There we go. We said it.
We fucking said it. I got the tiniest fucking seats. It was like Spirit.
Yeah.
And like,
do you know what? So Cathay doesn't have the little vent things for air.
Yeah. Great.
Zero.
Yeah. They didn't
have them.
Air India didn't have a charger or a fucking screen.
What are
Correct.
we like? We're talking about a 15-hour plus flight. What do you mean you don't have a screen, a charger, or an air vent? You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy.
Am I wrong? Wait, did they have a screen? I'm pretty sure there was something that got super fucked up with entertainment. And I don't remember if it was that I didn't have a screen or if I didn't have a charger.
No, you know what it was?
Or Wi-Fi. It was Wi-Fi. That's what it was.
Off for about 6 hours while we were flying over Russia.
That's what it was over Russia. That's what it was. We did have a screen because that's what I did. I did have a screen. Sorry, I take that back. I didn't have Wi-Fi. And I know I sound like a princess again, but my only
way... What are you
way...
gonna do with your screen without Wi-Fi?
Well, I could watch the Indian Bollywood movies, or I could. There were a couple American movies, not a lot, but I ended up. I was planning on working That's how I was going to get through, was like working on my computer because of the whole business I work all the fucking time thing.
Yep.
I was like, great, I'll have 14 hours to sit. But I was sitting next to this elderly woman that she was broad. I'll just say that. She was broad and old and was spilling into my seat. And that is literally the most uncomfortable I've ever been in my entire life for 14 hours straight. So I don't recommend. I was like, do I never go to India ever again? Or I buy a ticket that's way more expensive to not lose my mind.
I was like, your audience is used to hopping topics real fast.
Well, yeah.
There's an interesting thing that's happening to all of us on this tour with FOMO. And it's not necessarily, because usually like FOMO, for those who don't know, fear of missing out, is usually like socially. So you're like, oh, I don't want to like miss out on this like cast gathering where everybody goes, to dinner. I'm at an age and I'm at a place in my career where I don't really have that anymore. Where I'm like, I'm going to watch Stranger Things in my hotel room and I feel great about that. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Did you have Stranger Things?
No, but I'm watching it right now.
Great.
I'm only on episode 2 of season 5.
All right. Sorry. All right. I'll shut up. Keep going. Okay. So FOMO.
But where the FOMO comes in with this tour is, okay, I'm in these Asian places that I will, let's be real, never be back at. Unless life throws me a movie where I have to shoot there, which we'd love that. Let's do that.
Yeah.
But when you have like a week in Shenzhen or 2 weeks here, 3 weeks there, there's this extra pressure on your days off to go like do everything.
Yeah.
Because you're like, okay, well, this is my 24 hours where I can go to the museum, go to the temple, go to the garden, go to this restaurant, try this coffee shop, go like all the things that you like researched that are fun.
Yeah.
So, but there's this like pressure to do all of that instead of rest. Because you also need to rest to do your show.
Because you're still working.
But the FOMO comes from like, well, when am I ever going to be back here? The answer is hopefully, maybe never. Like, so it's very much like when in Rome. Like, like when in China, let's go do it. Because like, what are the chances I'll be here again? So there's this like, whether it's FOMO or not, like just like this like internal pressure to just like go do stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't regret any of it, but there are definitely days that I should have peacefully bowed out of that and like just slept all day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that you're still fucking sick from the air.
I know. I have here's the thing. I'm going back armed. I have a humidifier. I have an air purifier. I'm bringing back my own little pharmacy of Mucinex and Zyrtec and all the things like, cause this is the thing too. I didn't really prepare as much as I should have with packing. Cause I was like, well, I don't need Mucinex right now. But when you're in Dongguan, China, how do you find them? Like trying to like Google on my VPN because Google's not allowed. How do you find what is Chinese Mucinex and like what does that look like packaging wise? So I can like translate app on pictures at a Chinese pharmacy where again nobody speaks English to help. So like,
wait, Google's not allowed?
No, Google is outlawed in China, including all Google like products and things. So like Google, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, ChatGPT, anything that is a Google product is outlawed.
Is the VPN
you can get it
allowed?
on a VPN. I mean, not technically, but like everybody does it.
Okay.
They're still watching. Like they can still see what you're doing. I have. This is where I have to be careful, Sarah. I'm going to show you. No, we're going to talk about it for a second.
Well, we can always not if you're going to get in trouble with the Chinese government.
No, all I'll say is I'm going to show you because it's like they can't see what I'm showing you. This is my camera roll for those listening. And if you can see those blacked out pictures?
Yeah.
Those are photos I took. Those aren't like, oops, I like accidentally like took a picture in my pocket. Like those are pictures that were apparently pictures I shouldn't have taken.
They blacked out your pictures on your phone?
Yeah, because I was at a park. I'm not going to say where. I'll tell you that off camera. But I was at a place that I was like, I guess I was like, this looks very pretty and cool. So I took a picture. And then when I looked it up, I was like, oh, I guess I shouldn't have taken a picture of that. But they're just like, now that I'm like back in the States and like can do whatever I want, like the photos that they didn't want me to take are just blacked out on my phone.
What the fuck?
Right?
So did they appear on your phone in China? Like
When
you
I
could
took
see?
them, I don't know when they were blacked out because I didn't notice it until I was just like going back through
How
one
did
day
they
to like.
know? And so you were going back through and then you looked up like, why weren't you allowed to take photos? Because it was sacred or something?
No.
Okay.
I can't tell you how to camera.
All right, got it. Never mind. Okay, so that's fucking wild.
It's crazy. So it's just like we also talked about like, again, the geopolitics of everything. I do think America's watching everything we do, also not to sound like a
Yeah,
conspiracy
but they're
theorist.
sloppy.
Yeah, but I was like, China's just a little bit more big brother about it. Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
And we're doing Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, everybody.
Right?
The air's making me sick, and I'm just gonna keep going.
But I'm having a blast. Like, no, it's
Yeah.
fun. And I will say, the people are really, really, really great. This cast is spectacular. Being on this type of tour with these people really bonds you really quickly.
I believe that.
And so I've been having a really beautiful experience. Just because if again, like you're at a coffee shop and your phone doesn't work. And so which means you can't use Alipay or WeChat to pay. So I'd have to be like, Sarah, can you Alipay this for me so I can, and I'll Venmo you so I can pay for my coffee.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, you're having like a mini like mental crash out because you're just like, I'm just trying to hold my shit together while I order my coffee because like this is my 13th reason right now. And you're just like, and you as my castmate that I like maybe know really well or maybe like is not one of my like best friends on the road is just like, yep, I see what's happening to you. I'm going to pay for that. Here's your coffee. Venmo me later, whatever. Like,
I got you, boo. I got you, boo.
And everybody
That's
has
good.
done that for everybody at some point, which
Actually,
creates a really fabulous company dynamic.
I think it's just like the expat of it all. I honestly, I think when there was a bunch of Americans in Mumbai for my friend's wedding, like we were all like, what the fuck? Like it feels like if you've never left the country,
another planet. It feels like
a different and it just genuinely feels like I don't know how to function. I don't know how to survive. And they spoke English a lot. I mean, it's an English colony, right? So there was a lot of English, like even that. I can't even imagine not understanding the language at all.
Imagine that. So like there's a dissonance between like being in a mall or a grocery store or a hotel lobby or a restaurant. You're like, my body knows what this is. I've been in malls and grocery stores and hotel lobbies before. And then you look around and you're like, why can't I read? This is really strange. Like, why aren't there letters? And then you listen people, and you're like, I don't know what anybody's saying. And then you look in the stores and you're like, I don't know what food that is. Like, it's like, that's clearly pictures of food. And I'm like, you can get as close to it as you want. You're like, I don't know what that is. Like, that looks like a soup with seaweed and beef, maybe. And that's not what it is, probably. But it's you're truly like, it feels like you're a 2-year-old that's like looking at something for the first time and you're like not knowing what it is.
Yeah. And there's no parent to protect you.
But there's no parent and you're a full adult in a foreign country.
This is the other thing I learned is like when you were with someone, like when we were because part of the reason we went to Mumbai was because my husband had business there. So when we were with someone to take us around, that was so much better. And I've experienced that with people in New York, because New York can feel like a planet to Americans. I can't even imagine what it feels like to someone that's not a native English speaker.
You know what? This has also taught me, like, anytime I see somebody on a translating app or maybe a foreigner that's struggling, I will actually go up and maybe like use Google Translate or Papago or like be like,
do you need help?
How can I help you? Because now that I've been on the other side of that, and not that I've ever been an asshole, but like being on the other side of that is so cripplingly overwhelming.
Yeah. I've always thought if someone had Google, if someone like, it depends on their energy in New York. Like if they're just like an aggressive, crazy person, I'm not going to fucking talk to any, you really keep your blinders on.
No, I was like, you can also tell.
But you
Yeah.
can tell if someone comes up and they're struggling to get the words out and they're like pointing, and then you pull, like, there's almost this like sign language, like phone, and they're like phone, and then they pull it out and then they ask.
The amount of charades is hilarious that you have to do.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you have to do. Yeah, it's pretty wild. And at the same time, traveling is a good experience because it helps you appreciate what you have. It also shows you what is sometimes wrong with things, and then it also like it brings people together if you're just in it together. So like, again, when all the Americans went to Mumbai, we were all like, what the fuck is happening? and it was also like things like, and again, I think the other thing to keep in mind that Americans tend to do as I've traveled to other countries is like, just because we don't understand it doesn't mean, like, we are also people visiting another place. Like and I think we're so used to being like tended to, like everything conforming to us, so that they're like, I really do understand when foreign people to Americans are like, oh, these like, Westerns are so entitled. They don't know the language. They don't. And like, yes, I understand that. Part of that's our education system, unfortunately. Yeah. But at the other end of it, like, yeah, like when you go to a foreign country and you place demand, like, for example, if you're going to Mexico for your honeymoon or something and you're a fucking asshole because you expect it to be a certain way, right? And you expect their culture to be different or be like yours, ma'am, you're in a different fucking country. Yeah. Like, that's their culture. Actually, like,
that's like, what I will say with my full chest. The Chinese people have been so hospitable in ways that shock me. Like, it's really, really beautiful. Like, the amount of people that have stopped to help me with my phone or with translating, who will spend literally like 15 minutes trying to help me through a very basic task. And I'm like, oh my God, no, like, thank you. I'm wasting your time right now. And they like the tea ceremonies that they do. If you like go to any like mom and pop shop kind of local business and buy something, like, they'll do a whole tea ceremony for you because like a thank you for using their business. They brew tea and you sit and chat with them. Like, it's really, there was, her name is Maggie. She has a dog cafe in Shanghai. It's this little like hole in the wall place, which is just like her making espresso drinks with like 7 dogs just like chilling. It's the coolest thing ever if you're a dog person. And I went with we were walking, it's on the way to the theater. My castmate Michael had already gone there like daily, so she knew who he was. And she looked at me, and I don't know how she knew, but she was like, "You don't feel good." And I was like, "No, I don't." And she was like, "I'm gonna make you a drink." So she made me this like ginger tea concoction potion. And she was like, "Make you sound very good." And I was like, "Okay, girl." And she didn't charge me for it. And I was like, no, like, let me pay you. And she's like, "No, you'll come back tomorrow." And I was like, "Okay, girl." I drank I drank that before the show. I sounded great. And you bet your ass, I walked myself right to her dog cafe the next day and was like, "Give me that again." She was like, "I knew you'd be back," and then I paid for it that time. But like, aww. I was like, that's a businesswoman right there. She was like, "Nope, this one's free. You'll come back tomorrow."
Oh my God, that's amazing. Yeah, like it's interesting because it shows it, like, it brings out parts of you that you would rather probably not acknowledge that exist. Like, I was the grumpiest and not the nicest fucking person ever. When you're in like that survival, like, you're not like your best self at all.
No,
and
at all. And
at all.
Like, I hate that.
I hate that too.
Like, I hate having to like navigate that.
Right. And I actually realized that comes out in New York as a way to survive New York. And I come back here and Kyle's
that's
like,
a really good point. I never thought about that.
Yeah. And I didn't used to be like that. And Kyle's like, "You're kind of unfriendly." And I was like, "You're not wrong." Actually, when I canceled myself on TikTok, I included that. I was like, "Sorry if I've ever been like kind of short or maybe rude. I honestly have to protect myself because I've had some like scary things happen. So I just like really shut down and like I'm like not really that friendly if I don't know you. But once I know it's cool, like, I'll open up. But like, most of it comes from my fear of not being able to end the conversation or get myself out of there." Sure. So I just never open. I'm like, "Nope, the bars are up." But that's what I'm saying is like, when people are open, it does also bring out the best in humanity, because when you're like with a group of people and you're like, we have each other and this is it, and like we're in this together and there's no other option, and like my attitude has to adjust so that I like can do my best here, and like there's no fucking other option.
You're in a complete like mental crash out, and a Chinese person who has no connection to you at all decides to stop and help and like literally like download apps on your phone for you and get through everything so you can be like, thank you. Like it's really, really beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's again, like what I've learned about like global traveling has been, this is going to sound so sappy, but like, it's a nice little reminder that like there are really good people out there.
Yeah, but that's true. I mean, that's a good takeaway. And that's, I think, why a lot of people recommend exploring the world is like you do see commonalities and like the goodness of people, and then
especially as
shows
American,
you a lot.
I'm going to say like everybody listening to this, like if you're an American that has not traveled abroad, because that was me, do it. Go somewhere. Go somewhere by yourself.
I would maybe recommend starting out a little more gentle.
Don't jump into the deep end like I did.
Maybe Mexico like, first, or like maybe Canada.
Like I said at the beginning, it just like it expands yourself in ways like I was expecting to be expanded, and it is done it tenfold in really, really beautiful ways.
That's beautiful. Well, thanks for sharing all that, DJ. Is there anything else that you wanted to like share about working abroad and dealing with? Besides, I mean, we didn't really come to a conclusion about your illness other than like, I don't know if there is. Rough.
Like, I'll fill everybody in once I figure out what it is myself. But
well, I think it comes down to the point of like you really, when an actor calls out and you go to a show and you go to a touring show especially and you're disappointed, or you go like, you have to understand these people are working really fucking hard, and especially if it's a star or someone you came to see and they're not on, you have to understand like they are not trying to call out all the time. This is a really fucking hard job.
This happened to a friend. Again, I'm not going to mention a name, but I have a very, very successful friend who had somebody. I'm going to paraphrase the fuck out of this story. Somebody at a stage door was verbally expressed their disappointment in their performance because they didn't do an option up. They sung the score as written well, but they didn't do the option up that they usually do in like, no.
Because they're not allowed to option.
No, I was like, we're not allowed to option. But they usually do an option up that's like famous on TikTok or YouTube or something. And the person was like, you didn't do that. And my friend was like, yo, I was fighting for my life up there after doing like press all day. Like, sorry.
Yeah, or it's the holidays and we have
10
shows a week. Like, fuck you. Like,
but I think, so it's like, and I imagine all of your listeners are very, very kind about vocal health and things. But I don't know, like, people are wild sometimes with like expectations. I actually love seeing a not perfect performance sometimes because I'm like, it reminds me that what I'm watching is human, and like, I think it makes it more impressive to be reminded that like, oh, this is 30 people up there, like making something incredible happen. And like slight imperfections sometimes make you remember that it's not an edited movie.
Yeah,
you know
it's not.
mean?
It's live. It's live. And these are human beings who get sick and get run down and are definitely overworked. And I guess Equity at one point, when you were gone, they were going to strike and they just fucking didn't.
I was reading about that.
They just didn't do that, I guess. But really people, and even with that, like people are like, well, what are they striking up? They only work 3 days. And like, no, bitch, we don't just work 3 hours. Why don't you do it?
Try it. You try it.
No.
Why don't you? Like, that's just like, I dared some of these people, like any of these commenters that do that. I'm like, how about you paint yourself green, go in a cherry picker and try to sing that shit? Or like move to China and sing a B flat. Like, just try
listen,
it. If you have a problem with it, you try it.
You try it. And I think there's a lot of people that are miserable in their jobs. And like, listen, there are also a lot of other hard jobs that exist, like being being a nurse and, working
it's not
certain
brain
things.
Surgery, but it's still
But this
taxing.
is also blue collar. Like, you have to understand, Broadway performing is also blue collar. These are not cushy jobs. These people are fucking fighting for their lives. This is labor that they are. There's a union. It is physical hard labor that has a tax and a toll on your body, on your mental health, on your vocals, and these people are giving it to you, and they're sometimes at the expense of their health. Hopefully not, but that's what it ends up. There's people at the top making the decisions that are in charge.
Like, we've talked about voice this entire time, but it's like the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory choreography is insane. Our dancers are athletes. And so it's like they're going through their own version of basically the same thing I am with their bodies. So yeah, like it's across the board. It's a lot.
It's a lot. And all that to say is like if and I'll leave out with this, like the stage door thing. I want to ask how stage dooring is in China because
It's crazy.
Is it crazy? Because
go ahead, yeah.
Well, I was gonna say like just because you've seen it before, you want someone to sign your playbill. Your price of admission of a ticket does not include an autograph. Sorry to say, but that is just not how it fucking works. It's just
stage dooring is culturally
fucked up.
Wild over there. Well, no, because here's the actual statement. It's not just stage dooring; it's fandom in general.
Yeah.
Like fan culture is so much more over there. And I think the best like way to describe it is like the K-pop of it all.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of cool. Like they just the people, once somebody in Asia is a fan of you, they are a fan of you. They stan you. Like they go to every show. They will be there. Like they take fandom very seriously. So the stage doors have been like nothing I've ever experienced in the States. And it's really cool. And it's like, you know, it's great for your ego. But then also like there's a language barrier. So all you can say is like, thank you or xie a bunch of times before you're like, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Like, and what also is cool is that I'm signing a lot of the novel Charlie and the Chocolate Factory in Mandarin, because it's the first book that English students read in Mandarin and Mandarin students read in English. So a lot of the people that are seeing the show have a very like special place in their heart for this story because it's like the first story they read in the language they were learning. And so that's my favorite thing to sign at the stage door. But yeah, it's overwhelming. Also gifts, again, the hospitality of China, like they just give you gifts. I have like these like little like figurines and handmade keychains or like paper mache things or like Pop Mart Labubu furry keychain thing. Like they just like get like, here, thank you for coming. Like, thank you for bringing your show here. Like, so yeah, stage dooring is overwhelming and exhausting, but also wildly different and cool.
That's good.
It has actually, here's the statement. It has a gratitude.
That's cool.
That
like a weight to it.
Doesn't really exist here. Here, it's like a
little entitled.
It's a little entitled.
A little
there,
bit. I said that, not like, DJ.
Sure. Well, and no, and there, that's not to say that entitlement doesn't exist there, because like I definitely had a few experiences at stage doors there that I'm like, oh, okay. But as an umbrella statement, there's a lot more like, thank you so much for spending the last 2 hours doing that for us, or like like here's a gift. Here's my favorite candy from this store that you might not have in your country. I want you to try it. Like, it's a cultural share and like gratitude of like, thank you for coming to see the show from me. And for them being like, no, thank you for bringing a Broadway show here. And here's a keychain with a panda on it. Like, thank you.
Like, thanks.
Yeah, kind of. So yeah, it's a different experience for sure. Stage dooring.
Did you get a bunch of followers?
Yes and no, because keep in mind, Instagram is illegal. So no, but I downloaded RedNote, which is like their version of TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah.
And so I have a following on there.
Oh, really? How many?
Yeah. I mean, it's not like poppin', but it's for only having it for like 2 months. I think it's doing pretty good.
Pretty good. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Well, that's I actually did download RedNote too when they were getting rid of TikTok because I was so
I was like, I forget that people know what RedNote is because of that, like those like 2 days in the woods.
Yeah, I was
where
like,
everybody
fuck
was
you. Like I got it. I was like, I got it out of spite. But I never really used it.
Well, follow me on RedNote then.
Follow me on RedNote. Yeah, I don't know that this episode would get to anybody in China. I feel like I guess not.
Do you get analytics on that on the podcast?
I haven't really looked
I bet
at them.
It's somewhere on the
DJ
thing.
asked me how the podcast
I know.
was
I was
going.
like, how's the podcast going?
And I'm
She's
like,
I don't know.
I don't know. It's going good. I do it twice a week. most of the time on the same days, but like sometimes not at all. Sometimes we skip. But it's just about consistency and like just dribbling more free things out and making it a practice.
My favorite thing about podcasts, especially the ones that I listen to, is I feel like I have like a parasocial relationship with who I listen to, because like they don't know who the hell I am, but I listen to them like so often, and their voices bring me such joy. So I'm just like, I'm just wondering how yours is doing.
I think it's doing good. I think I love podcasts. And when I find a podcaster that I love, I consume it so much. And like you said, like,
I consume the content. I'm like, give it all to me.
I love it. Well, that's why hopefully in 2026, this is also, if y'all have anyone that you know that's a lit video YouTube editor, I'm looking to expand to that. I really want to bring on a social media team.
I want to do this podcast with you and film it so people can see. Because like even in this one, guys, we have been giving each other looks and faces, and I was in full positions trying to show how my airplane seats work.
Yeah. I mean, that's where we're going to go. It just is an investment. It requires a team. I like that content too, but it's just like another amp up. But we are in development. We're working on that. It's expensive, but the goal is again to expand this, because this is a tangent, but this whole last year has been about I had like the parts of the machine of my business, and now we got the machine to run, and now it's about pumping the machine full of oil and like tweaking it. But like having a system and a plan, like this is a really integral part of the system, because it gets people into the world. And then like I said, like if I'm meant to connect and help with people, I want to be able to serve them to the best of my ability. And I'm kind of a yapper. I don't do as well with short form. I mean, I've gotten better at it, but like I just do better with long conversation.
Yeah, well, then you can just take the short form.
And then I just take it. Yeah, exactly. That's the goal. So anyway, on our DJ, this is a little bit more of a yappy time of just kind of.
Before we go, I have one thing to pitch, actually. Plug, I should say.
Plug us.
Just because our last one was the voiceover one.
Yeah.
If you are a listener that has a child, because I didn't know what either of these products were, but if you have a kid, apparently you will absolutely know what these products are. They are called Tonies or Yodo. And they're, for those that don't know, basically like a little speaker for children. And with Tonies, you put a figurine on it and it plays you a story. And with Yodo, you put a card in it and it plays you a story. And they're very like educational. They're very like fun and very like child friendly. But one of the series that I recorded, I play 8 characters in it, is being released right now. It's on day 10 because it's basically like an advent calendar kind of release. So one episode comes out every day in December until the Christmas. And it's called Morris and the Magic Bell, and it's on Yodo, now available. Yeah.
Okay, go check out DJ's new gig that it's just dropping right now. That's awesome.
I will say, like, of all the silly things I've done, it's like I said, it's called Morris and the Magic Bell, and the script is adorable. I was reading it, I was voicing it, I sung for it, and I was like, honestly, this is great. I would listen to this. So yeah, go check it out.
All right. Well, thank you so much for talking to us today, DJ.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be back again, if you'll have me back.
Yeah, baby. All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a 5-star written review on Apple Podcasts. This helps me get this information out to more artists all over the world. Let's work together to spread the joys of music. Until next time, I'm your host, Sarah Bishop, signing off from the Singer's Path podcast. Thanks for listening.